source of news and information in LaPorte County is 96.7 The Eagle and HometownNewsNow.com. Welcome to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle, LaPorte County's original social media. Sound Off is a public interest forum that encourages your voice to be heard on the topics and issues impacting our local communities. For the next 30 minutes, we invite you to be part of the conversation by calling 219-362-0522. And you can now text your questions to the Liquor Vault on-air line or by email to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is a top
more of an economic development that you're bringing economic development experience to the council. How would you rate the economic development strength of our county right now?
That's a tough question, really. If you look at how the city is managing economic development, there are ways to market the city, and the county has some struggles right now with areas that we're trying to develop for large industry. Right? If you look at south of LaPorte, you look at KIP. Great property with potential. It needs a little bit more in my mind. If you look at it, there's properties there that they actually own into the road. The road is owned by the county. It's not maintained by the county. So now you're bringing in an industry that has to now figure out how to run hot patch, cold patch, plow roads. And by the way, we're going to build a building and run a business. That seems like something that we ought to change in order to go forward with economic development, at least in that area.
We've got Republican candidate Adam Koronka on the show today, and he's talking a little bit about some of his campaign for County Council District 1. Real quick for our listeners, again, they might not have the district maps memorized. You should, listeners, you should by now. But what is your district?
So my district is basically the west side of LaPorte, wrapping up around over by McClung Road and south. South of the high school and the middle school. West towards Westville, including the town of Westville, and then six or seven townships on the southwest side of the county. So you're looking at Dewey, Prairie, Clinton, Cass, Scipio, Noble, and Hannah townships.
And what's interesting about that, obviously you're elected by, to in that district, for that district, but many of your votes are countywide, correct, on the council. It's not like you only vote on things that impact your little district there. You vote on the whole county. You talked about economic development. And what's been an interesting conversation, I think, going on in the county right now is, let's say, where economic development butts up against the satisfaction of residents. For instance, there's a project right now in Stillwell that was proposed for battery storage, for lithium batteries, where essentially, and these are getting built all over, but where there'll be essentially a facility, $150 million invested facility that will store energy in that building. There's the corridor, north-south corridor, that the mayor is talking about how that is going to also help with economic development. However, there's also residents in all those areas that don't necessarily love those projects. How would you balance both of that?
So you have to look at, cost and benefit. And costs aren't just money. Costs are, like you said, resident satisfaction, crossing through somebody's horse pasture, which one of the corridor proposals actually goes 5 feet from a friend's farm. Mm-hmm. So those sorts of things come into balancing that and understanding, okay, what are we going to get, and who are we going to displace? And that one I have a real hard time with, is displacing people or affecting their livelihoods in the name of economic development. So it's a tough balance. And it's funny that you mentioned the battery case. So I'm actually on the Plan Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals for the county. I heard that case a few days ago, and spent my evening yesterday actually putting together the last of my questions that go towards that group that says, okay, answer these questions so that we can be better educated in what we're actually going to either approve or deny. So,
yeah, and obviously I think there's a lot of things happening there, especially where they're wanting it, that it's getting closer to Stark County, which is going to have the nation's, if not the world's largest solar field eventually here in the next couple of years. And so I'm sure energy storage is a big deal for all of them as well. So We've got Adam Koronka on the show. Adam is running for County Council District 1. If you have a question for Adam, you're welcome to call me, 219-362-0522. You're also welcome to email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. If you are streaming with us online, so glad to have you on Facebook and YouTube. You're welcome to put your comments in the comment area there, and I'll ask Adam for you. Hey, we're going to take our first break here. We've got lots of different conversations we're going to have here, but lots of political ads for you to listen to as you inform your vote here coming up on the May 3rd primary, just right around the corner. Keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
Car problems often strike at the absolute worst times, but you can rest well knowing that Cannon's Automotive Service is here for you and dedicated to get you back on the road with prompt, efficient, same-day service. The same Cannon's commitment that LaPorte has trusted for over 50 years. Cannon's Automotive Service, now with 2 locations, 710 Tyler Street and 909 Boyd Boulevard.
With Cannon's Automotive, we fix everything.
Hi, I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I'm running for LaPorte County Commissioner, currently serving on the County Council. As a conservative, I have always asked the tough questions, being fiscally responsible with your tax dollars. I will serve with honesty and integrity and be an ambassador for all of LaPorte County. Serving is not just a mission, it's my passion. I'm asking for your vote on or before May 3rd's primary. I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I approve this message.
Hi, I'm Al Ott, Democratic candidate for LaPorte County Sheriff. During this election season, you will hear many candidates make many promises as to what they will or will not do if elected. I make one promise and one promise only. That is to do the best I can to provide exceptional leadership and law enforcement services you expect and deserve. I respectfully ask for your vote and support on May 3rd. I'm Al Ott, and I approve this message.
This is County Councilman Mike Rosenbaum. As a certified public accountant, you have someone who understands the complexity of the LaPorte County finances. I choose to focus on the issues, research them to get the facts to make the right choice for you and me. You are seeing bridges getting repaired in a planned manner, avoiding costly emergency repairs, infrastructure and visual improvements to the county fairgrounds, new EMS station in Rolling Prairie. I will continue to find solutions to long-term issues by being fiscally responsible and practical. I seek your vote in the Republican primary on May 3rd. This message has been paid for by the committee to elect Mike Rosenbaum.
Hello, this is Republican candidate for LaPorte County Sheriff Andrew J. Morse. I hope to gain your trust, confidence, and vote on or before May 3rd. I have 21 plus years of law enforcement experience and 45 years of common sense that I'll bring to the office. One of the main reasons I've decided to run for sheriff is to ensure the women and men of your sheriff's office feel their voices matter. We desperately need a boost to the family and team atmosphere at the sheriff's office, which I feel is paramount to providing the absolute best public service for the citizens of LaPorte County. A vote for me is a vote for them and a safe LaPorte County. I am no politician, so I won't make a lot of empty promises, but I will make one you can count on. I will not be hanging up my duty gear should I be elected. Let's keep LaPorte County a safe place to live, and please vote for me, Andrew J. Morse, on or before May 3rd. Thank you, always stay safe, and I, Andrew J. Morse, approve this message.
Paid for by the committee to elect Andrew J. Morse for LaPorte County Sheriff.
While too many politicians are all talk, Jim Pressel is taking action. As Joe Biden's disastrous policies are sending inflation through the roof and causing higher gas prices, conservative leader Jim Pressel is taking a stand and delivering real relief for Hoosier taxpayers, voting for the largest income tax cut in Indiana history, putting real money back in the family budget. Jim Pressel is also an outspoken defender of the unborn and is the only candidate in the race endorsed by Indiana Right to Life. Pressel also believes our liberty is worth defending and has stood against government mandates and for our individual liberties, including our Second Amendment. That's why Jim Pressel is endorsed by the National Rifle Association. Jim Pressel is the conservative leader who is fighting to defend life and liberty. Vote Conservative Republican Jim Pressel for State Representative.
Paid for by Friends of Jim Pressel.
Your opinion matters. We invite you to share it by calling or texting the Liquor Ball on-air line at 362-0522. That's 362-0522. Now, back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Welcome back, friends. Today is Friday, April 29th. We've got Adam Koronka on the show. Adam is running for LaPorte County Council as a Republican for District 1. We will have his opponent on the show for our final show before the primary on Monday. Justin Keel will be on then. Now, if you have a question for Adam, you're welcome to call the Liquor Vault on-air line at 219-362-0522. You can also email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com, and I'd be happy to check that and read that as well. And if you're streaming with us online, you can put your comments in the comment area as well. So let's get to our first caller. Hey, thanks so much for calling the show. Thanks so much for listening. What's your question for Adam Koronka?
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you for coming on the air, sir. This is Steve Hollifield. I have two quick questions. You talk about KOP and economic development for the first one. Do you feel that we'd be much better off allowing private business out there to take the lead instead of the county? Because we see every week in the legal section, we pay an awful lot of lawyers to take care of work out there. Nothing's being done. And second of all, if the commission goes the right way this fall and Shaw Freeman is no longer in position to be the attorney and he comes begging for a job at the county council, will you vote yes or no for him? Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. So starting with the economic development, if you look at how, let's say, other counties or other municipalities handle economic development, they're a separate organization from the city. If you look at LEAP, they're not truly a department within the city. So being the fact that the organization, however well-staffed that they are, is part of the county, I believe that they're kind of held back by some of the red tape and processes of the county to be able to handle that, most efficiently. In regards to the county council attorney, I see no reason why Guy DiMartino needs to be replaced. At this point, he has done very, very well by the council. He's very objective. He does what he is supposed to. He's supposed to counsel, not lead.
So we've got Adam Koronka on the show. If you've got a question for Adam, the Liquor Vault on-air line is 219-362-0522. Adam is running for LaPorte County Council Republican, and as a Republican in the 1st District. Again, if you have a question, 219-362-0522. You can also email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. I also just tried this. Now, I don't know if this will work for you, but it did work for me. I texted that number, sound off at 96.7, so I used my actual phone to text it, and it worked. So if you're just like one of the kids, like me, and you want to just text, you can text sound off at 967theeagle.com. It's not a number, it's an email, but it will get to me still. All right, so Adam Koronka, you're running for office here. There's lots of controversial things happening right now in the county. Obviously, stuff every candidate wants in a year that they're running for office, including the lit tax, these kind of things. It's been a conversation that we've had over and over here on the show. Candidates have been all over the place. We've traced some candidates that have been against it, then for it, then against it, these kind of things. If you were on the council, you would have had a vote for this. The local income tax for public safety. How would you have voted?
I would have voted for it. The reason being is there's the need, and then there's the sustainability for the plan to fill that need. Right, that was the only sustainable option that I could see. You can look at American Rescue Plan funds. You can look at trying to lobby the state to free up some of that tax money that they're looking to return to the taxpayers in moving that into different funds. That's not a quick process, and nor does that have the end result that you're looking for. So I saw that as being the only option that we really had in the immediate need. Now, with that, back to the economic development side of things, is now going forward, quit going back to the well and dipping into people's pockets when it comes to taxes. Quit taking a bigger piece of the pie. Just make the pie bigger. So take that same section, and what that really is as you increase the tax revenue, both on income tax by population, the income tax by giving better wages because you have more jobs or more high-paying jobs, and the property aspect of it. Now you've got a bigger pie to where that section is now more revenue overall.
So what is your thoughts on growing the county and population? Is that something you think the county needs to do?
Well, realistically, later on we're going to hear an ad with my name on it, and you're going to hear, I want LaPorte County to be the place where our children raise their children, right? And I look back at even my own childhood, right? I grew up in northern Michigan and moved around because of where I saw opportunity for what I wanted to do. It wasn't in northern Michigan. So I ended up eventually in LaPorte County. Now, you have parents who are raising children who want to see their grandchildren, and they want to see them frequently. So how do you do so? You end up really growing LaPorte County just by the natural organic method of the fact that kids grow, raise their own families. Hopefully they stay at home.
We've got Adam Koronka on the show. Adam's running for the Republican for 1st District County Council. If you have a question, 219-362-0522. Let's get to a caller. Hey, thanks so much for calling and listening to the show. What's your question for Adam Koronka?
Hey, Adam, thanks for taking my call. Most of the people I know who are voters in LaPorte County, one of the things that's a big issue to them is accountability. So my question is, will you support Mr. Stabos and Mr. Haney that are going after this attorney and for him to be accountable for what he is charging the county? And will you follow through with some type of prosecution if he's been found to do anything illegal that shouldn't have been done with the county's money? Accountability is a big deal in politics right now, and I'm curious what your answer would be on that. Thank you.
Good question. So through all that, let's take all the characters out of it, right? You've got the current case. Accountability belongs to everyone. So in any event, if there is some level of misdealings that are illegal, of course I'd support it, as well as any investigation that's required. It's one of those things that, we're here to do a job. We're here to do it honestly. So if there are any situations where you are actually finding evidence that support prosecution or support some level of discipline, then follow through with it.
So we have a question here. There's been a lot of development in Lake and Porter and St. Joe and Elgart County for residential, new subdivisions, these kind of things. There's not a lot of development here in LaPorte County. How can we encourage more residential developments happening in LaPorte County?
Right now, we just need to look at what do we have for available land for residential development. And there is available land. We saw a recent case where, as part of the Plan Commission, I approved the presentation to the commissioners for another subdivision over there by Rolling Prairie. Now, there was reasons where that was denied from the commissioner level, right, wrong, or indifferent. That was the decision on the commissioner level. We need to continue to look for those opportunities where you have unused land, where you're not infringing on the surrounding areas, to be able to develop for residential development. And you've got to find desirable areas. Just turning around and taking an unused farm field that is completely barren besides of what was grown last year or the previous years doesn't necessarily make ideal places to develop, but you also don't want to take away from the what makes, let's say, southern or rural LaPorte County what it is too, because eventually we're going to need to grow food there too. So it's a balance, but we definitely need to find areas to develop, because in order to grow, you need places to live.
We've got Adam Koronka. Adam's running for LaPorte County Council District 1 as a Republican. We'll have Justin Keel, his opponent, on Monday's show. But if you have a question for Adam, you're welcome to call the Liquor Vault on-air line at 219-362-0522. You can also email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. I'd be happy to ask the question for you. If you're streaming with us online, you're welcome to put your question on on Facebook or YouTube. Here's some questions from our streaming here. What's his thoughts on the lithium power plant going on out by Stillwell? Would he consider the highway department, public safety, like EMS and the sheriff's department? So first, again, you did talk a little bit about it, but maybe they're just listening now. What is your thoughts on that lithium power plant going on by Stillwell?
There's a lot of unanswered questions on that lithium power plant proposal. Just last evening, I put together my questions that are going to the council that's representing the two companies and those companies themselves to be able to answer, so that we as a Board of Zoning Appeals can actually root through the situation and create a ruling on what are we going to do going forward. So right now I can't say that I'm for or against until I have all the information. As far as County Highway and the other departments, they're definitely essential. How that's got to be handled is much like what the IC code allows for when it comes to the lit tax, and I'm assuming this is where it's leading into. So you have certain aspects that you're only allowed to have these special lit taxes. from there, what you're doing then is freeing up funds from the general fund to be able to support what do we do with these other departments in terms of raises and compensation. And I'd be really interested to see what that study, the wage study, comes back with in those other roles.
So are you in favor? This has been a kind of a debated topic. I know Commissioner Haney this is one of the things he was pushing for, essentially that any money that the county gets in lit tax should stay in public safety and not essentially borrowed back into the general fund. I know Councilperson Rosenbaum said, no, we're gonna be able to free up some general fund money based on the lit tax that we're raising. Where do you stand on that? Should it be new money that all goes towards public safety, facilities and training and, putting money away for the new jail, these kind of things? Or are you okay with saying, let's take some of that money and actually use it for other salaries and other things that the county needs?
So from everything I understand on the proposal right now is you have that additional 0.05% that is going to a fund. That fund is entirely public safety.
Yep.
Now, what was in the general fund that was allocated to public safety stays in the general fund, which is not being dipped into for public safety. So now use that fund for these other cases. So it's not like we're really moving money around, it's where that money comes from, is my best way to understand
Yeah,
that.
the general fund doesn't have to pay that money into public safety because you're getting a new tax for it, so you're freeing up. So essentially, even though this is used as a lit tax for public safety, it really is going to benefit all the other things as well, while also raising more revenue for public safety that is needed. Correct. All right. So here's a question here. What about KIP? As the listener says, essentially it was 15 years deep on this project, right? $6 million railway, not a lot of progress. Is this something we should still invest in?
This is something we need to sit back and regroup on. We're believe that it has the potential it needs to, but I think we need a new strategy in order to make it work. You look at it, and I even answered this question posed to me earlier in the week when it comes down to the corridor. Well, the corridor would have a piece in this. I agree that we need to have some route north-south, but I don't know that we have that answer in front of us yet as to how to do that. That would help bring a route to KIP in order to use it. But, like I said earlier, the way that it is developed and owned, how do we make it to where it is ready to build, right? Shovel ready for a company to come in, and they don't have to maintain roads or build new roads in order to get to their own plant or their own store or what have you that you're going to build down there.
So you're not against continuing to invest into this project, but you want to relook at some of the investments and also say, are we investing properly? Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes. Are we investing properly, and are we marketing it properly? Okay. Maybe it's a point where the county actually comes back and takes ownership of the roads, builds the roads, maintains them properly, so that you have a company that's just coming in buying the lot that's inside of that roadway.
And I know some of our listeners are going to hear this because this is why they listen to the show. You did mention North-South Corridor. And so I'll bring that up real quick. And if I heard you right, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, you said you're actually for a corridor in theory. You're for the North-South way. You're not necessarily committed to any of the paths they've taken, correct? Is that right?
Okay. Going across somebody's farm field, going across somebody's property in order to make this work does not seem the right answer to me.
Is there a way to do it without going through somebody's property? Like maybe only one person or two people, but is there a way to do it without that?
If you look at the different routes to where you tie together, maybe Fail Road, Boyd Boulevard, areas through Seavers Road or coming down from 20, I think there are ways to do that to where it's minimalized. You have minimal impingement or infraction on people's property.
All right, we've got Adam Koronka on the show. If you've got a question for Adam, just let us know. Give us a call, 219-362-0522. We've got a caller on the line. I'm going to get to you right after this commercial break. Listen to these fine candidates talk about their fine political prowess coming up on this May 3rd primary. All right, keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
Ben Conowitz here, owner of LaPorte Seamless Gutter. My parents started LaPorte Seamless Gutter in 1982 with one goal in mind, really. Our customers' 100% satisfaction. And we are still providing the same customer service that Tim and Seal Conowitz started all those years ago. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com. 219-362-9972.
Hi friends, Chief Deputy Ron Heeg here, and your Republican candidate for sheriff. I'm a 25-year veteran of the sheriff's office, starting my career within the jail. I worked my way up through the ranks to my current role of Chief Deputy. I'm active within our community, serving on the board of directors for Grand Heritage Federal Credit Union, Stepping Stone Shelter for Women, LaPorte County Triad, and for Indiana Homeland Security District 1 Task Force. I'm married to my wife Heather, and we live in Kankakee Township with our 2 daughters, Olivia and Allison. I humbly ask for your vote on or before May 3rd, paid for by the committee to elect Ron Heeg sheriff.
This is Adam Koronka, Republican candidate for LaPorte County Council District 1. I want to help make LaPorte County the place where our children choose to raise their children. To do this, my priorities are to support public safety and emergency services countywide, to focus on creating high-paying jobs, and maintaining strong public infrastructure, all while being responsible with county funds. Please vote for Adam Koronka for LaPorte County Council. This ad is paid for by the committee to elect Adam Koronka.
Vote Fagan 2022. Who is Sean Fagan? He's a lawyer. He's a Republican. Sean Fagan, running for LaPorte County Prosecutor 2022. Sean Fagan knows that LaPorte County is a great place to live, and he wants to keep it that way. Sean Fagan for LaPorte County Prosecutor 2022. Be safe. Be strong. Let's work together. Vote Sean Fagan 2022. This message paid for by Fagan for Prosecutor.
Hi, I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I'm running for LaPorte County Commissioner, currently serving on the County Council. As a conservative, I have always asked the tough questions, being fiscally responsible with your tax dollars. I will serve with honesty and integrity and be an ambassador for all of LaPorte County. Serving is not just a mission, it's my passion. I'm asking for your vote on or before May 3rd's primary. I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I approve this message.
Hi, this is Andy Heineck, Democratic candidate for Sheriff of LaPorte County. As a military veteran and a 22-year member of the Sheriff's Office who has worked in every division, I believe I have the experience to be your next sheriff. My goals once elected are to reduce recidivism amongst our inmates, expand our mental health services, and to focus on the heroin epidemic. I've dedicated my life to serving our community, and I'm asking for your support. Please vote Andy Heineck for sheriff, paid for by the committee to elect Andy Heineck sheriff.
Good news, Surf Fiber Internet is growing in LaPorte. Get 1 gig speed with a free whole home Wi-Fi router for only $65 a month. There's no hidden fees, no contracts, and free installation. They are building out more neighborhoods every day. So visit surffiber.com to check your address for service or call 844-955-SURF for more details. That's 844-955-SURF. This is a limited time offer. Speeds may vary and some restrictions apply.
Dave, you guys built a new deck.
Oh yeah, it was easy.
It's on a bit of a slant, but I can live with that.
Yeah, you think? I thought it looked pretty good.
I don't think that railing's up to code either. So, are we just going to stand here, or can we actually go on it?
Oh no, I don't trust it enough to actually go on it.
No offense to Dave, but if you want the job done right, contact Powerhouse Construction in LaPorte. Decks, patios, or kitchen and bath remodels, Powerhouse Construction will ensure your satisfaction. Call 219-380-9981 to book a free estimate. That's 219-380-9981. Powerhouse Construction.
Bethany Church, ourlocalheroes.us. Light Up the Darkness, July 2nd.
It's a drone and fireworks show with limited parking available. Advance tickets at 362-3312.
Michiana weather.
Cloudy this afternoon with a high of 65. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance for scattered showers tonight, 51. From the Weather Center at HometownNewsNow.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 61.
Thank you for tuning in to Sound Off. You can now text or email your questions directly to the studio. Call or text 362-0522 or email your questions to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is Sound Off.
Welcome back, friends, for our final segment of Sound Off for today. We've got Adam Koronka, who's running for Republican, the Republican spot on LaPorte County Council District 1. Here's some questions for you. Where do you stand with this is from our text line. Thank you for texting the email. Where do you stand with the Democrat versus Republican finger pointing becoming more prominent in our local politics? Will you represent both parties' views independently if elected?
So if you look at it, the most effective political movement, political action that's gone on has been bipartisan. So why wouldn't you work with folks, if you want to call it figuratively, across the aisle in order to make things work? if you look at local politics as a whole, you don't have as much of the very, very strong fundamental right or strong fundamental left policies that we're having to work with right now, especially from the physical standpoint, right? The council is the physical arm of county government. So realistically, to be the most effective, you got to represent everyone.
And mostly has been a fairly bipartisan board, right? It's usually not one party. One party is going to have a majority because of the way it's set up, but oftentimes they do work together. So,
yes.
All right, let's get to a caller. Hey, thanks so much for calling the show. Thanks for listening. What's your question for Adam Koronka?
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. Just on another note, I guess, Adam, I'd like you to maybe tell the people a little bit about yourself as far as what's your motivation? What motivated you to run for office? As we know, Terry Gardner in District 1 has held that office for over 20 years. And my gosh, I don't think that he's been challenged maybe once or twice. Your time frame, as far as again, we understand it's not a full-time job, but it does take quite a bit of a commitment with getting out and about and seeing people as well as attending the meetings. So tell me a little bit about why Adam Koronka wants to do this, what your aspirations are. Is there something else where you would look forward to go from this spot on? I'll hang up. I know it's a short show with all the members. So thanks guys. Bye.
Yeah. So are you as my friend Santana says, are you going to pivot from council to president after this?
I'm going to
of the United States.
Yeah, I am not going for president of the United States. By degree, by profession, I'm a metallurgist. I work in manufacturing industry. I don't plan on changing that. I want to bring something better to LaPorte County, and that is basically, if you want to call it a side gig, a separate job, in order to bring that my personal attributes to the council, that's what I'm doing. So no, I'm not looking to pivot. I'm looking to continue and bring on the benefits that I feel that I have to the council. What motivated me? A couple of years ago, I took a course called Leadership LaPorte County, a program run by Monica Komzinski, and she brings in Jim Jessup often. And it gives you the perspectives of different things that go on in the county. When you start looking at public safety, you look at public education, and those sorts of things, along with the history. It also gives you the insight of how really easy it is to be able to enter public office if you're interested. And instead of maybe volunteering and working with, let's say, a Lions Club or a Kiwanis Club or something like that, and if you really want to get into the next level, it shows you how you really can and what you can really bring.
So then, and again, we've just got a couple minutes left. We've got the May 3rd primary, just a couple days left. What do you want our listeners to know about your campaign, how they can connect with you, and again, give a final push for people that are going to the ballot box?
All right. So I do have a Facebook page, Koronka for LaPorte County.
Do you want to spell Koronka?
Koronka. Thank you. Especially since it's been so fun for you to say, as I remember early last week. So it's going to be at Koronka FORLP County. You go to that page, you'll find ways to contact me. Biggest thing is you're going to look at somebody that's going to take a black and white approach in terms of being objective to what's the issue in front of me. Is it one way or the other? How are we going to handle it? Do so respectfully and use the data that you have in front of you. And data is not always numbers. It comes down to information, whether that be the concerns and aspects that people have with, let's say, a change around their community or around their home or around their pocketbook, to what could it bring, whether that be good or bad, depending on how you rule on a particular project, issue, investment, purchase, those sorts of things. I'm going to look at it from the aspect of being accountable to the taxpayers. Right now, I work for a large company that has accountability to many stakeholders, and I use those same professionally driven attributes in county government.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Hopefully, we'll get you on again, assuming you do well here in the May 3rd primary. Your opponent, Justin Keel, will be on Monday as well, so he is our final show. I did reach out to other candidates, and there were some that did not want to come on. I think they're not afraid of me. I think they're afraid of Dennis Siddell. That's my personal opinion, but we'll see. Hey, I want to thank you so much for listening and being more informed as you go to the ballot box. I want to also remind you and let you know that on primary night on May 3rd, starting around 7, maybe a little earlier, Dennis and I will be here in the studio to give a 2022 primary show. We'll talk about the election results. We'll have Stan Maddox and Liam Hobbs at both of the party headquarters to do some interviews with candidates there. So if you want to stay more informed with what's going on in LaPorte County, if you want to track results with us, make sure you're listening in on that night, because we'll have coverage all night starting at 7, essentially giving you all the updated results from Heather Stevens there at the clerk's office as they come in. Also, again, listen Monday for our show. If you ever miss a show, go to hometownnewsnow.com and you can catch up there. Hey, be good to yourself. Be good to others. Find out who you're going to vote for. Go vote and keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
Thank you for joining us